Hello dear students, hope all of you are well. Today we learn how does sound propagate through ear. We can hear sound through our ear. The outer ear, shaped like a funnel, helps to receive the sound energy, and this outer ear is called pinna. Now this one is called pinna. So this is the pinna and the outer ear. It helps to direct the sound through the ear canal. There is a ear canal, so by getting or receiving the sound energy, the sound wave passes through the ear canal. Not only that, it also protects the middle ear. For the pinna, we can hear the sound, or pinna direct the sound energy into the outer ear canal by overcoming the pressure difference inside and outside the ear. So inside ear the pressure and outside ear pressure are different. So pinna helps to direct the sound or pass the sound through the pressure difference region. If pinna is not present, it would be difficult for us to understand and receive the sound energy. So let us learn the traveling of sound energy to the eardrum. So for this, we will learn one activity which will help us to know how does the eardrum work after getting the sound energy. For this activity, this activity will get in your NCERT book activity 13.10. For this activity, you need a tin can. It may be a plastic. It may be a plastic or maybe a tin. Stretch a card its ends. Both the ends you cut and stretch a rubber balloon across the ends of the can and fasten it with a rubber band. Now put 4 or 5 grains of dry cereals, or you can take rice also, grains of rice on the stretched rubber band. Now make sound at the other end of the hollow tin can. Other end of the open end of the tin can. When you make sound, by getting the sound energy, the air inside the can start vibrating, and the vibration energy passes to the membrane. By getting that energy, membrane start vibrating up and down. For this, the grains also start moving up and down. So what will you observe when you make sound? You will see the grains move up and down. And for what? This is for the vibration energy or vibrating energy. So the vibration transferred from the sound energy that you make to the air inside the can, then to the membrane. So in the same way, the eardrum also vibrate. Let us learn how does sound travel through the eardrum, travel through human ear and vibrate the eardrum. So already we learned about this is the outer part of the ear, that is the pinna, and up to this one, this is the outer ear. So outer ear consists of pinna and the auditory canal. When sound energy passes through the auditory canal, it hits the eardrum. Eardrum is the membrane at the end of the auditory canal and marks the beginning of the middle ear. So from eardrum, the middle ear starts. So middle ear consists of eardrum and 3 small bones, malleus, incus and stapes. And this is the inner ear. Inner ear consists of auditory nerves and cochlea. So this one is the outer ear. This part is the inner ear, or this one is the inner part. And this is the middle part. This one is the middle part. and this part is the inner part. So outer ear consists of pinna and auditory canal, middle ear consists of the eardrum and three small bones, and inner ear consists of cochlea and an auditory nerve. Now, by getting the sound energy through auditory canal, eardrum, the fine membrane start vibrating. The eardrum is very extremely sensitive, and pressure from the sound wave makes the eardrum to vibrate. When eardrum vibrate, this vibration passes to the small bones which are attached to it. These small bones are named Malleus, incus and stapes. By vibration of the small bones, the sound energy amplifies. The eardrum vibrates from the incoming sound waves and sends this vibration to three tiny bones in the middle ear. These three bones amplify and increase the sound vibration and send them to cochlea. This is the cochlea. Cochlea is a coil-shaped organ inside which a fluid is there, uh, which also vibrate, or the sound energy, the vibration energy when passes to cochlea through the fluid, it travels like a waveform. If we see uh, closely, you can see the size of the inner ear is so small. You can see here, it is so small. You see, it is so small. There is the auditory canal, and here is the eardrum, and this is the cochlea and auditory nerves which is connected with the other parts of our mouth, and through the auditory nerves which passes through the to the brain. Now through the eustachian tube which is connected with the nasal canal. So all these are connected. Now let us learn more about a close look at the three bones and cochlea. So these are the three bones, that is the malleus, incus and stapes. So the sound energy when vibrate the eardrum, the vibration passes through the three small bones malleus, incus and stapes, which amplify or increase the sound energy or the vibration and send them to cochlea. This vibration passes to the fluid inside the cochlea where hair-like cells, which are sensory cells, detect the sound energy, however high pitch or low pitch. Then the sound energy passes like a signal through the auditory nerves and reaches to our brain. Inside the cochlea, there is a fluid through which when sound passes, it is like a wave, and inside there are hair-like structures or sensory cells. So students, you can see the structure of inner ear is so complex and it is so beautiful that the tiny part of that is a very tiny, it is a like pea like, it is shaped like a pea, so small, but they are so sensitive and and so beautiful. For this we can hear the sound. Now this auditory canal, here you can see this auditory canal is not a straight, it is a side a curved shape, so that easily any insect or something like that dust particle cannot harm the eardrum. So auditory canal also protect the eardrum from any outer disturbance. Not only that, in the auditory canal there are wax which also protect the eardrum from dust. Next we learn frequency, time period and amplitude of vibration. In class 7 already you have learned about frequency, time period and amplitude of vibration. What is a oscillation or oscillatory motion or vibratory motion? As you know, the to and fro motion of an object is called oscillatory motion or vibratory motion. Frequency means the number of oscillation per unit time or per second is called frequency, and SI unit of frequency is hertz. So if the vibration of an object or the frequency of vibration of an object is 20 hertz, that means that object vibrates 20 times per second. Time period is the time taken by a vibrating object to complete one oscillation. So frequency and time period are related to each other. If time period is denoted by capital T, it is equal to 1 by frequency. If frequency is denoted by small n, so time period T is equal to 1 by n. So they are inversely proportional. Or we can write A naught frequency is proportional to or equal to 1 by T. Next, amplitude. Time period is denoted by capital T generally, and SI unit of time is the time period is second. Amplitude, the maximum displacement of an vibrating object from its mean position, is called amplitude. If I take an example of a oscillating pendulum, and this is the mean position, so from mean position to the maximum or the highest position, the displacement is known as amplitude. So if I draw a graph of sound wave, and this is the mean position, amplitude is the displacement or a maximum displacement from the mean position to the highest position. So this is denoted by amplitude A. So more is the amplitude, more is the louder sound, more is the frequency, more is the shriller sound. So these all are related, and with the help of this oscillation, frequency, time period, amplitude, we can identify the sound energy. So these are the things which help us to identify or which makes the sound different from one another. So shrillness is defined by the frequency of sound wave, and loudness is defined by the amplitude of sound wave. So more is the frequency, more is the shriller the sound, more is the amplitude, more is the louder is the sound. Next day we learn more about characteristics of sound, loudness and pitch and quality or timbre. Today up to this much. Bye.